Hi everyone, I'm Laurel Marie Hickey. Welcome to What's Blank Got to Do With It. Today's What's Blank topic, monthly spending budgeting. So what's monthly spending got to do with it? The cost of living is a big financial issue. And in order to have a budget, the concept is that you have a habit of spending less than you earn. So it is an old-fashioned budget that we would look at for this, but it is easier said than done. So a budget is a financial plan where you do a tally of your debits and your credits, a tally of your expenses coming in, and also your income sources coming into the household as well. And so we net it out on the bottom to see if you have a monthly surplus or if you have a monthly deficit. We all have different financial goals, but there are three categories for spending. The first one is essentials and necessities. This is our primary spend. So with budgeting, these are the first line items that we really want to look at. The second line items are experiences. Maybe we want to go to a movie or out for dinner, or maybe there's something that we want to spend our money on, a purchase of some sort. The third is a future goal, a reason why we're saving our money. Your dreams and desires, what are they? Is it you want to do a renovation, or you've got a big trip planned, or perhaps retirement is just around the corner and you have been saving monthly for many, many years so that you can reach that goal. So as an example, if you have a goal of a vacation and you have allocated that you'd like to spend $3,000 on that vacation, which you might want to add a little bit more lately because travel costs have gone up. But as an example, if that annual goal was $3,000 travel, your monthly budget would say to save $250 a month. So we take every line item and look at what the total for a year would be, and then we divide it by 12. The same would apply if you're putting a down payment on a home, or if you're saving for RESPs or TFSA monthly contributions or retirement contributions. Whatever that amount is, divide it by 12 on the monthly budget plan. So with monthly spending, it's so that you have an awareness for where you are spending your money. And often it's not something that we really want to look at. It's like, oh, I don't want to know, I'm going to buy it anyway. But when we really are looking at dreams and desires, and when we really are looking at also expenses that are going up and having an awareness for them, the first thing is to have an understanding for what that spend looks like. It really is empowering to have an understanding of how you're spending your money. With your monthly spending, the goal is for you to have an awareness for how you're spending your money per category. And if you notice that one category seems to be rising, as an example, food, necessities are expensive. And if you have debts, those interest rate on your loans are increasing because interest rates are increasing. You might have a shifting monthly budget depending on what environment we're in. So having awareness for that, if one category is higher, you might have to adjust one of the other categories to offset that. And it really does smooth out over time, but having that awareness and catching that pendulum really quickly when we see our spend is higher than we previously had allocated is super important. If your goal is to be intentional with your money, a monthly budget is your friend. When we look at budgets, the first thing that we will identify is, are you spending money on things that you're not even using? So you have a storage locker and you put your stuff in storage years ago and you don't even really remember what's in it. So that would be one of the first things we would identify. Do you really need to have that storage locker? Is there a way that you could create space in your home? Or maybe you want to start to purge and look at that at a different way of spending that money. So if you're planning a vacation, but you've got this storage locker, it might make sense to go for the vacation and to really look at that storage locker to determine if it's something you want to keep. Now, this is simply an example. We also see a lot of money that goes towards subscriptions that are not being used. So that's another area in the monthly spend that you can adjust easily. So why budget? Budgeting is different for everyone, but there are a few examples of where you might want to incorporate a budget into your life. So the first one is if you do have debt. If you have debt, and certainly we're seeing interest rates are rising, so your cost to debt is increasing, we might want to look at how you allocated your monthly spend to see if there's a way that we can work towards paying off that debt sooner rather than later. Another example is if you have plans to retire and you really want to track your expenses as precisely as you possibly can, just so that you don't have a surprise when you retire. Have an awareness for what is that amount that you want to come into your bank account when you retire, and what are the sources of income that will equal that amount. So we really like to look at both sides of the balance sheet for that as well. If you aren't really sure how to track your expenses, a few simple solutions for you. Number one, get a piece of paper, write down all of your income and write down all of your expenses, and really have an awareness for what that looks like on a month-to-month basis. So we recommend you do this for 3 months to really have an awareness for what that money is like flowing in and flowing out. You also can look at spreadsheets. So I used a spreadsheet for years, and I really shifted from a spreadsheet to, because I knew what my expenses were, that I created 3 separate accounts. So I have one bank account that flows all of my monthly needs. So whatever that amount is, I put that money in that account and my expenses are going to flow out of that. The second thing that I do is I have a separate account for the things that I'm saving in the near term, the experiences or the events or items that I may need to purchase. So I have a second account for those things. And then I have a third account for my investment savings. And this is where I have my TFSA, my RRSP, my cash account savings. So I really use these 3 separate accounts for my budgeting purposes. So imagine that you have done your budget now. You've figured out what your essentials are, you've figured out what your experiences are, and you've also determined how much you want to save for your goals-based plan. And you feel really great about it, and then all of a sudden you have an opportunity to do something. So someone says, what about we do this, or what about we do that, or you see something on your social media. You know, it really is up to you if you want to follow your budget or not. I always like to have a little bit of room for not knowing in a budget so that it's not so strict, but if you do want to take advantage of an opportunity, you could do that. But certainly it's also okay to say to someone, oh, I'm going to pass on that this time because I have a financial goal that I'm working towards and I'm really excited about that. So it's okay to say no sometimes, but it is also okay to say yes and to leave a little bit of room for not knowing, a little bit of extra money in your budget for those exciting opportunities. I hope I've explained a little bit more about monthly spending, budgeting, and until next time, I'm Laurel Marie Hickey.